2015 is going to be a big year for utes. There's a new Hilux, a new Navara, and this, the all-new Mitsubishi Triton, which wants a bigger slice of the market. So, will its new look, bigger value proposition and ironclad reputation be enough? I'm Tom Baker, this is Chasing Cars, and this week we've got Mitsubishi's new Triton ute for you. Like the Outlander SUV, the new Triton wears Mitsubishi's dynamic shield design language for a bold new look. And it will need to stand out, as there's a whole bunch of great new utes launching this year, so the Triton needs something to set it apart. Over our week with the Triton, we found a much more refined model that's a significant improvement over the car it replaces, and a strong choice if you're looking for value in the utility segment. The Triton's cabin is just about the best one that Mitsubishi makes at the moment. Of course, that might not say very much about the rest of their passenger cars, but they've done a fantastic job in here. The materials, while durable, are nicer than they were before, and in this mid-spec GLS model, the steering wheel and gear lever are both really soft to the touch. The dash is laid out logically, centered around this easy-to-use touchscreen audio system. In the higher Exceed model, you do get sat-nav as standard, but it's a different head unit, awfully old, not very nice to use, and definitely in need of replacement. This one is actually quite good, and it's easy to do things like pair your mobile phone. Other than the dash, there's plenty of cubby holes around here to store your clutter, and there are these grab handles to help you jump up into this tall truck. The seats aren't too bad. They're made of a hard-wearing black fabric here, but they're fairly comfortable, certainly more so than they were before, and not too bad over a full day in the saddle. The back of dual cab Tritons has plenty of room for apprentices or other passengers, with 3 adults able to sit side by side easily here. It's not the last word in comfort, but it will do. There's just enough headroom for somebody 6'0", and certainly enough knee room sitting behind myself. While we're back here, let's talk about the price. And the new Triton is competitively priced for the segment that it sits in, with the range kicking off in the mid-20s on road for a basic 2-door cab chassis manual, heading up to this mid-spec GLS, which is in the mid-40s and has plenty of kit for the dual cab manual transmission that we've got here, but you can get a decked out Exceed automatic with the lot for just about $50,000 on road. The Triton's tray in the dual cab models is one of the better standard fits in its class. It's 1520mm long by 1470mm wide and 475mm deep. It is a little bit high in terms of loading in equipment here though, and it's not quite wide enough between the wheel arches to fit a standard Australian pallet, but it is a generous size nonetheless. And you can option up some additional dealer fit stuff like this hard tray liner or this soft tonneau cover as well. There are plenty of new utes launching in 2015, so the Triton has to drive well in order to be up there near the top with the likes of the Ford Ranger. So, what's it like up here behind the wheel of the new MQ Triton? Well, first impressions are very good. It's much more refined than the car it replaces. The new 6-speed manual transmission is much smoother, plus it's easier to steer around town. All new Tritons share the same engine, which is a new 2.4 litre turbo diesel 4-cylinder that's quite a grunty little unit. It puts out 133 kilowatts of power and 430 newton meters of torque, which all comes on in one big lump at 2,500 RPM. It's a little bit sluggish off the line, but once you reach that peak torque figure, you're really moving, and the Triton's happy to rev and go a little bit quicker in all of its gears, including decent pickup on the highway in 4th, 5th and 6th. It's also a fairly quiet unit at idle, and it doesn't get too thrashy once you build up a bit of speed. We've got the 6-speed manual in this one, and the additional gear over the old 5-speed box really does help. It's also a more smooth shifting unit, although the throw is a bit long, but the biggest change is to the clutch, which is now light enough for easy town use, so getting the manual doesn't have to be a chore. However, the 5-speed automatic option does carry over. The steering is well sorted as well. It's variable depending on the speed you're at, so it's light around town, making this space a bit easier to park, whereas once you've got a bit of speed built up, it does weight up nicely. You do sit pretty high up here in the Triton, but there's a good amount of glass all around, making visibility a bit easier than in something like a Hilux. And reversing this mid-spec GLS model or the top spec Exceed isn't difficult because both of those models have a reversing camera as standard. That joins 7 airbags here in the cabin, and Mitsubishi were also pleased to note that the Triton scored the maximum 5 stars in the local ANCAP safety testing when the new model was launched. But what's most surprising is just how refined the new Triton is compared to the car that it replaces. It's a lot quieter. The additional gear in the manual transmission keeps engine noise to a minimum at highway speeds, whereas the old model's 5-speed was always just really rowdy at 110 kilometers per hour. It's also just more insulated from noise generally, with not very much wind noise coming in, and road roar is also at a lower level than what it was at before, while the rear suspension has also been sorted out to a higher level in this car, meaning the Triton jitters around a lot less when it doesn't have a load over the back wheels. And that's not to mention the available 4-wheel drive with low range, which is very competent on a rocky trail. But that's the story everywhere here. The Triton is seriously competent and compelling. It may not be Ranger or Amarok grade, but if you're in the market, it'd be silly to ignore the new Mitsubishi.